Hi guys, Jordan from B&B Campers. I'm just going to do your handover video on your 2019 blue VW with the Land Rover conversion. So I will just start under the bonnet. Obviously got your chassis plate over here. Air filter sits inside this box just here, and your power steering fluid just sits here in the front, in the reservoir at the front there. Your brake fluid attached to the servo is just here, and your engine oil goes in through this here. Engine oil dipstick is just this one down here with the yellow top. Washer fluid and engine coolant sit just here at the front of the engine. Engine batteries over here on the right hand side. It's a Varta battery, it's probably the original one I would say. Yeah, it will be. So that's all of that under the bonnet. Diesel filling point is this just in here, diesel at the top, and then if you do need AdBlue, it'll tell you on the dash, the AdBlue goes in through here. So obviously being the newer style of diesel engine, you have got to think about the AdBlue at some point as well. Airbag on and off, little switch just in there, you need the ignition key to use that. You've got aux point just there and USB. You've also got your start stop system on and off is just here. Heated windscreen, hazard lights just there, and various other bits and pieces that I will go through in just a minute. But lots and lots of extras just there on the cab. I will go through the inside of the vehicle with you in just a minute, but we'll just carry on around the outside first. At the back, you've got loads of storage underneath the bed there, if you should need it. Your leisure battery sits just down there at the back of this locker. And your gas locker is this one just up here. And so I've got the gas on at the moment, and I've already drawn through bits and pieces on the inside just so that I can make sure it's all working. But it's all here exactly as it should be. I know you've had a van before from us, but anti-clockwise around to the left turns the gas on, and clockwise to the right turns it off. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff over here. This is all just for our testing purposes. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Obviously it's nice to be able to fit the full size 6 kilo propane in there. Whereas a lot of the smaller vans like this tend to only allow for a smaller bottle. Hookup point is this one just here. You can see I've got it hooked up at the moment just so I can show you the charger working and things like that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you got full sort of double din sized original Volkswagen head unit with sat nav, app connector. You can sort of connect up your phone to it and all that sort of thing. So it's all there. If you want to use any of that, you can do. Air conditioning from there, from that switch just there in the middle, and your 6-speed manual gearbox. You've also got cruise control, which is all done by the steering wheel just here with these buttons. You know, cancel, set, resume, all that sort of stuff's there. And you can also adjust the volume and things like that, and the radio stations from here. Your lights are here. You have got an automatic function there, so you can leave it on auto if you want to all the time, but you've got side lights, main beam as well. 14,000 miles from new, and obviously I know it's only a 2019, but you know, on a VW that is still very, very low. And you've got heated and adjustable wing mirrors from there, and your windows from here. So that's about all there is on the outside, to be honest. So we just jump in straight away. I'll just show you how easy the bed is. Obviously I'm not going to pull it all the way out, but push down on that little button just there and then pull this out towards you. If you just carried on pulling this, it would just literally go out to its full bed size. And then when it is all the way out, all you have to do, instead of trying to yank around on stuff to get it come back up, all you have to do is push this button back down again, and it will release itself, and you just have to push it back until it clips back in like that. And that is literally it. That's all you have to do. So It's one of the easiest beds I've ever seen, and Steve, the guy that does all these conversions, does a very, very good job, and we make sure that he always fits these good size, easy to use beds and things. Microwave is here, obviously another nice extra to have in a smaller van like this, only working when the hookup's plugged in. You can see there it's all on and working as it stands because the hookup is plugged in at the moment. Your main control panel is this one up here. It's a Sargent control panel, so it's like a control panel / PSU power supply unit. It's all of that in one. So you can see there I'm selected on leisure battery, and the voltage is at 13.5 volts at the moment. That's because the charger is on and charging up the battery. So obviously that has to have the hookup plugged in first, charger switch on, and then you'll have your charging voltage there. If you wanted to select the vehicle battery to power everything in the back, like the lights and all that sort of thing, you can go down on this switch just here to vehicle battery, and then whatever you use in the back end of the vehicle will be drawn from that battery. But obviously you don't want to do that, because if you did do that, you wouldn't be able to start the engine up after a little while because it would go flat. The next two, light and auxiliary and water pump. So you can turn those ones on. You can obviously turn all these lights off manually if you want to, but that's just your main isolator for those. And the water pump, as long as you've got some water in your freshwater tank and your wastewater tank is empty or nearly empty, got enough space in it for what you're going to draw through, then you will be able to use your tap. So water comes through there nicely. There's a submersible pump, and it works on 12 volt power only. It doesn't work at all on pressure, so you're much less likely to get leaks and things like that, basically, as long as you make sure that when you're driving, the idea is that you put this, there's like a little cap here, so these are supposed to be used on top of those the little rubber seal in there, it's just popped off. These are supposed to be used on the top of these tanks just here for when you're driving, so that they don't leak and splash around. But to be honest, if you leave it like that, sort of like half full, it's not really going to splash around very much when you're driving anyway, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Porta potty, brand new in there, never been used, so that's there for you if you do want to use that. Your 2-burner hob, obviously that's only going to work when your gas is actually on, and also the ignition will only work when your lights and aux switch is on, because the aux is the power that powers up this ignition. So left-hand burner is this one just here. That comes on nicely like that, same as the other one. You've got, as all the other motorhomes and all other, actually pretty much every other gas product in the world has got, is a thermocouple. And so that'll be this little prong of metal at the back just here. And what it does is basically, it's kind of, if the flame is on, the thermocouple realizes that and it allows the gas to keep coming through. Whereas when you turn the flame off, or if the flame gets blown out and you don't turn it off, the gas is obviously going to be pumping through still, but there'll be no flame. So when the thermocouple recognizes that the gas is coming through but it's not lit, it turns the gas off, so that you can't just fill the van up with unburnt gas, basically. So that's there. They've both been checked as part of the habitation check. Nice cutlery drawer down there. And then your fridge. So standard small motorhome size fridge. You'd be quite surprised how deep they are and how good they are to use, actually. They get cold really, really quickly. I mean, I put this on just before the video, and actually in this freezer box at the top is already like really, really cold. So that's how they work. The main on and off switch for that is here. So push and hold on it to turn it off. So that's it off. And then same again to put it on. Set your temperature on the right hand side just here. But really you want to leave it on maximum until it gets to, well, I mean, I've used plenty of these fridges before, like actually going away, and really just leaving it on the maximum is about right anyway. So just turn it on and leave it there. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. These do draw quite a lot of power, so just I'm just going to turn that off before I forget. Just remember, if you are going to be using it, try to, as best you can, either use it with the hookup plugged in, or when the engine's running, because obviously your leisure battery is built to last a little while, but these fridges do draw quite a lot of power, especially when you first turn them on. So if you are going to use this fridge, it's just my advice to you to use it more often when your engine's running or when your electric hookup's plugged in. Basically, when there's something charging the battery is when it's best to use that. You've got what's called a split charger. So when you start the engine up, the alternator charges up the engine battery, obviously, like every car does. But you've got a split charger, which basically splits that power off between the alternator and the engine battery and sends some of it back to the leisure battery as well. So that when you're driving and the engine's running, your leisure battery is being charged up as well. So when you're driving, the fridge is fine to use because you're charging your battery at the same time. And also when your electric hookup's plugged in, you've got the battery charger on, so it's fine. Whereas if you don't have anything charging the battery up and it's just sat on the driveway, for example, with no hookup plugged in, you will find that leisure battery will just drain itself out after a couple of days or so, because they do take quite a lot of power. So it's just a bit of advice, really. Storage back here and your paperwork for the van. You have got a little sort of bit for clothes up there as well as like a little wardrobe, I suppose. On the control panel itself, you've also got permanent feed, pump, fridge, charger, lights and aux. So they're all just individual fuses for the whole system, the whole van. And your electric trip switches. So if you plug something dodgy into this switch, just this little plug socket here, then basically it would trip from there, if anywhere. If you want to hook up a TV or anything like that, you can put an area on and wire it all up just to there if you want to. And the last thing really is your Propex heating. So on a day like today, it will not work because it's way too hot to actually even start working because it's got a little thermostat in it. But you basically just turn this little fire symbol on here and set your temperature, and essentially the gas will just be drawn out from the gas bottle and it will light itself up and do its own thing. It's all pretty straightforward. If you want to turn it off, push and hold on this button here and it will turn itself off. So it's really, really nice and simple. The roof, again, really simple, but just make sure that you really nice and tight here. Otherwise they can have a tendency to make a bit of a noise when you're driving on the motorway. Obviously just the air getting in underneath it. When you're packing the van up to leave, just make sure that all of your windows are shut, glass is down. If you are going to have anything in your fridge, make sure that you've got your fridge on still. Beds away, that sort of stuff. Although actually you can drive them down if you want to, but it's not really the best idea in my opinion. But that's about it really. So if there's anything else that you think I've missed out or anything you want going over again, then just let us know and we'll do our best to sort of help you out. But there's not a huge amount else I can show you, I don't think, to be honest. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.